Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend as always. I know there's some crazy weather patterns going on. The Midwest, you're getting hit with that huge heat wave, which honestly isn't too odd this time of year. But I also hope everybody's kind of enjoying the World Cup and seeing all the upsets there. It's been keeping us on our toes. So I thought today we'd talk a little bit about how to properly introduce yourself. And you're probably thinking, you know what, I've done this 100 times. I know exactly how to introduce myself, yes. But again, our goal behind these is maybe to learn one or two tricks on how to do maybe a little different introduction to make yourself stick out. That being said, let's run with a good Zig Ziglar quote and start this Monday off. If your responsibility to make the client, it's your responsibility to make the client like you. If they like you, they will listen. If they listen, they will believe. If they believe, they will buy. Just having the client like you is very important, and how you come across in your first 30 seconds is actually going to be a way to determine if your client likes you or not. A lot of people get a gut reaction right away. They say, hey, you know what, I really like this person. I'm not feeling them so much. Either way, let's learn a few things that we can do to alter it and see if we can actually increase the percentage of people who want to talk to us, which on the sales funnel obviously is going to hopefully increase the very bottom, which is our sales. So happy Motivation Monday, everybody. Now, if this is your first Motivation Monday, here's what we're going to kind of run through. They're about 15 to 30 minutes, hopefully a power-packed 15 minutes where we can go learn one or two things and get going for the week. We start with a tip of the week. Then we take a look at what our trends are. We'll take a look at our sales leaders, and of course, we'll end with a sales technique, which is a proper introduction. Taking a look at the tip of the week this previous week, it was actually about VBA or General Agent Center. If you're taking a look at AHCPsales.com and how their really great AME and AD&D is on there. It's very inexpensive and they have very low deductibles. Again, if you're playing with those clients who maybe don't have the biggest budget and you want to give them something that is going to have a lot of benefits, and also keep in mind comes with a few other frill benefits on there, I highly recommend that you take a look at this. And again, to get appointed, please contact Agency Services, which their number will appear on the next screen as well, because the other company we want to talk about here is the IHC group. So you know that we have many options and plans available with you, and that's kind of the advantage of working with us here at AHCP. We have a lot of different contracts that you can get. IHC, you know, we have some of their old trainings put up in our training area, so feel free to take a look at that. So when you go to hcpsales.com, you can go up to training, you can see our training calendar, what's coming up, but you can also see our post-recorded trainings. They do have short-term medical plans, critical illness, dental vision, surgical indemnity. One of the reasons why I bring up the short-term medical, this is one of the few carriers that does work in the state of California for short-term medical. Other than that, it also does Minnesota, which is another hard state to sell in, but it's basically a bare bones short-term medical, kind of inexpensive. Some people like it because of that. I will tell you some people don't like it because of that. I personally just like it because it's in California and Minnesota, and those are the two states that I like to use it. Take a look though, and if you want to get appointed with them, you can contact Agency Services. How to get appointed as well, if you go to our carrier section at hcpsales.com, you can go through, click on the carrier section, and it will tell you what it takes to get appointed, and that's when you just call Agency Services and do it for you. Okay, so taking a look at this, our trends. It was kind of a boring week trend-wise, guys. I hate to be that one to you. So if we can get this up and going, there we are. Short-term medical, no real change in short-term medical, maybe down one or two policies, nothing to write home about. With our fixed benefit sales, slight decrease, maybe like 10 policies down, not a lot. Again, with short-term medical, we're leading with NatGen. Fixed benefits, we're leading with NatGen and then VBA. Small increase in our accident sales, leading with NatGen and Golden Rule. Small decrease, and all these are really tiny. In critical illness, leading with CBL, no change there in the dental. Leading with the NatGen PPO and Golden Rule. Let's take a look at who our sales leaders are this week. So taking first for our short-term medical is Dustin Pearson, upsetting Katya. So good job there, Dustin. Congratulations on taking first, leading with VBA and NatGen. Katya taking second, leading with Pivot and NatGen. And then Cody coming in third, leading with NatGen and Pivot as well. Taking a look at our limited benefit sales shout-outs for the week. Katya took first, so second in short-term, first in limited benefit. Life's not that bad. Leading with NatGen and Pivot, we have Robert there with VBA, and of course we have Brian Jarvitz there taking on bronze. So let's jump into this. Let's jump into how to do a solid introduction. Now, An introduction is very important because that is the very first things that you're doing with your client. And you can think of an introduction in two different ways: when you first pick up the phone, and then also when you're starting your sales process. My opinion, hearing about a million different introductions by now, they're really broken into four main pieces. So they're broken into just kind of who you are. Second off, why you're calling, right? So what is it? Your engaging question. What we call a WIFM, which we'll jump into each of these a little more in depth here. WIFM is what's in it for me? Why do somebody actually care? And of course, ending with the process and next step. We are going to jump into other parts of the sales process later, like how to do proper fact finding. What are we going to look for? We'll go through gathering sheets, which is what you need to actually know about your client. We'll jump into the presentation. Hey, you gathered all this stuff. Now what to do? And then, of course, we'll do how to do a solid close, which if you do the first three steps right, the close is kind of a joke. So you literally have 30 to 40 seconds to grab the attention of your potential client for them to decide if they like you or not. Like I said before, 30 to 40 seconds. Originally when we talked about the sales process a long time ago, people have to think you're fun to work with. They have to think you're professional, knowledgeable, and have their best interests in mind. And literally you have 40 seconds to kind of do that and get as many of those four done as possible. Your client needs to know all that to effectively buy from you. You can say, my clients actually don't think I'm that fun and they buy from me. Maybe you should take a look at what the retention is, because I know the word fun is completely evil and is very subjective, but they have to have a good feeling. I guess that's what we can rip apart the word fun for. So introduction, you need that wow factor. And we broke into those four steps. The last one, which is kind of funny, is going to say process next step. And some people say, I don't really tell my clients what I'm going to do. I'm like, funny enough, your clients are actually wondering the whole time. And what I like to do is I like to actually have my clients listen to what I am selling. They need to hear what the product is, because I like it when they keep the product, because I get paid as long as they keep paying, right? So if they keep it and they understand it and they like it, that's why I tell them the process. So they can ignore everything else because they know what's going to happen and just listen to what I'm going to explain. Funny enough, adults have to know what's going to happen. We do. We just absolutely have to know what we're going to do, or we sit there and we wonder the whole time. So let's jump into the introduction, just that first little section. Okay. So the first step in opening a call or a dialogue with any of your prospective clients is going to be your introduction. It seems simple, right? You need to grab your client's attention, make them want to keep speaking with you, and you don't want to blend into everybody else. So keep that in mind, depending on what kind of leads you're buying, right? Exclusive, non-exclusives. A lot of my great agents rock the non-exclusives because they can grab their attention right away, right? You want to stand out, so don't overthink it, but you need to be ear grabbing, right? Do you like them saying, don't do this, but do this, that, and this? Okay, so 30 to 40 seconds. So if it's a cold call, be careful to do an immediate introduction, because you can give them the signals and hang up, right? And you can say, hey, my name's Dan, I'm working with AHCP, but no one really cares, honestly, first off, what your last name is, funny enough. Everybody says, because it's going to be in your email, so if they really want to see it and if they want to take a look up on you, they can absolutely do it. But hey, I'm Dan, the insurance guy. It's kind of that easy, right? The more interesting you are to dive in right away, you can say, like, instead of saying, hi, John there, and this is, you can say, hey, John, thanks for picking up the phone. Thanks for taking my call, something like that, because, it's actually going to throw them off a little bit, and that's going to make them say, what is this person? Okay. So with a cold call, keep in mind the mistake would be saying things like, do you have a minute, right? First things first, you have to have an unexpected pleasantry by just saying, like, hey, John, thanks for picking up my call, and assuming that it's them, or hey, this is Dan, the insurance guy. What you're doing is you're actually setting the client's mind at ease, and you're making yourself more interesting. One thing not to do, and I hear this all the time, is asking them, do you have a minute? Do you have time to talk to me? A lot of people say, it's professional courtesy. You're right, it's also a professional no, right? Just make an assumption. People will stop you if they don't have time, and that's okay, right? One thing that we talked about in a sales process is do what's called an assumptive sale, which means you're assuming that the whole time that is going to work how you're expecting it to, right? If you walk in with that, just work like that the whole time, how you're going to expect it to. So right away, and I'll go through a full introduction at the very end, so hang tight. But you want to throw them off using an unexpected pleasantry. Just like, hey, this is Dan, the insurance guy, or hey, John, thanks for picking up my call. Those are two good examples. The next step is kind of why you're calling. This is more of a formality. And If you want to, this is a way to say your name and the company you're working for. If you don't want to say the name of the company who you're working for, that's fine too. You can just say, hey, this is Dan the Insurance Guy. What I'm doing is I'm a licensed broker in 50 different states, and my services are free to help you, right? So something kind of like that, and we'll jump into it more. But keep in mind, with leads that put their information online, most of the time they're being contacted by 100 different people. They go to a lead development site, they click some box asking someone to contact them, then they get sold to about 90 different companies. If they're non-exclusive, if they're exclusive, hopefully just to you, So the name, your company, if you're affiliated with, don't be long-winded. Keep in mind, people are deciding again in 30 seconds if they like you. You want to be cheery here and energy and just dang it, smile, right? Sometimes make that easy right away. So who you are, who you're with, what you're doing, clear to the point, but goofy things like lean in on your introductions. This seems kind of goofy. If you're over the phone and you lean in, trust me, you can hear a very huge difference. Why leaning in actually gives you energy. It just it gives a little more power behind your voice. So lean in with that one. Stand if you can. Wall mirror in the office so you can make eye contact. And I know all these sound goofy. You're saying that they're 101. They're 101 because they work, right? Why are 101s 101s? Because they're actually the base foundation of what works. So again, hey, you know what? Hey, John, thanks for taking my call. I'm Dan, the insurance guy. I'm here with AHCP giving you a call about your request for health insurance. Kind of quick and to the point. The next area is going to be the WIFM. What's in it for me? Everybody only cares about themselves. And we talked about this a lot. It sounds really bad. Your clients are calling not to hear about your life story, but for you to hear about theirs. That's what sales is, right? Sales is we get paid to listen. We get paid to listen and then figure out what is their pain point that they're telling us through all these 100 stories and then match that pain point with a product. That's really what we do. So why should they care what you do? That's the biggest thing. Remember, if you've done your own brand and decided who do you want to work with, like we talked about last week, this is a lot easier. You can specialize your benefit statement here. Why should they care? Well, you can say you do to make their lives easier, right? You want to make their ears burn. What can you do? Do you have unique benefits? Can you reduce their costs? Can you offer peace of mind? Do you work with small business owners? What do you do? What can you do? Usually it's in a form of a question like, hey, I can save my clients on an average around 10% on their health insurance costs. Is that something you're interested in learning about? You've been declined for insurance in the past. I have a short-term medical product that's guaranteed issue. Would you be interested in learning more about it? I have a product that helps protect your family's financial security if the big what if happens. These are things that make clients pay attention right away. In health insurance, there's so much variance in need. That's why it's easier if you're working with, a more specialized type of client. Even though I get with the whole general cold calling leads, you can't do it all the time. But why should they spend those 5 minutes to learn about you right away? And what do I mean by 5 minutes? Because we're probably going to gather their information, then look up quotes, right? The last section here is going to be the process and the next step, right? You can go two ways. So if they decide that they don't have time and they need to set an appointment, you can absolutely do that. Or if you're not talking to the decision maker, go for it. Or you can explain what's going to happen in the next few minutes, right? We all love one call closes. That's the second half. So let's talk through the first. So if they don't have time now and you're setting an appointment, keep in mind you need to get a clear time and date, not, hey, call me Tuesday. That's garbage. Clear time and date. What are you going to do? So on that time and date, what is going to happen? Great. So, John, I understand you don't have time now. I'm going to call you Tuesday at 3:45, and what I'll go through is I'm going to go through your current insurance situation and what you're expecting out of a plan. And then on that call, what I'm actually going to do is go through, customize a plan for you. It's going to suit the best of your needs. And if at any time you don't like something, let me know. I'll take it off. And then in the end, we'll go through the application process for that policy that day, okay? Bam. You just said what you're going to do. You're saying, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, do some fact finding, present you a product, and close you. And they say, okay. And then repeat the time of paper. Okay, so that's going to be again Tuesday, whatever the date is. So tomorrow's the 26th. So Tuesday the 26th at 3:45. Can you grab a pen and paper? Listen for them to ruffle. That's one of my favorite things in the world. And then have them repeat it back. Kind of weird, right? Because how many times do customers not repeat it back? It can happen. That's really embarrassing, but that happens, right? Then they're not going to show, and don't worry, you can schedule another appointment during that time. Not the end of the world, right? I used to do this, increase my show rate just by about 40%. Just have them repeat it back, right? And those people are going to be for sure closes. Now, if they're ready now, that's the second half. But you better be ready to go, right? That's one of the things. When you're calling out on your cold calls, be ready to actually pitch. right? Don't call unless you have your sales process done, your script out, you're ready to go. You can explain what your steps in the process are and be 100% prepared. Keep in mind, your process introduction is the very first step. So it'd be something like, hey, again, gotcha, John. So what I actually do right now, this call takes about 20 minutes, maybe 30 on the long end, but I'm going to ask you a few questions about your health insurance needs. Together from there, we're going to actually customize a plan that's going to best suit your needs. For there, we'll make any changes as needed. As long as you like what you hear, we're going to go ahead and get you applied today, okay? So kind of quick and easy with that one, right? So an introduction, even though it has a lot, and I'm going to go through one in a second, is really just introduction, your name, kind of asking the engaging question, telling them why do they actually care about you, and then in the end, the process. So let's go through one. Hey, John. Hi, it's John there. Thanks for taking my call. It's Steve. I'm a licensed health insurance agent at AHCP, giving you a call because your request to be contacted about health insurance. What I do here is I save my clients on average about 10% on their health insurance. So does that sound good to you? Great. Well, John, what I do here is I ask you a few questions about your health insurance needs. Together, we customize a plan to best suit everything that you need there for you and your family. From there, we're going to make changes, anything you want as far as that goes. And as long as you like what we hear, we're going to go ahead and get you applied for that today. Quick, easy, and to the point. Now, if you do have any questions, feel free to contact us here at training@ahcpsales.com. If you have any questions about the carriers we went over, feel free to call agency services. Their number is at the bottom. And let's end with a pretty good quote going on. If we can get that pulled up, the computer's just dogging on me today. And there we are. There we go. So sales are contingent upon the attitude of the salesman, not the attitude of the prospect. That's, again, they have to like you in the beginning. You have to be the one smiling and having the good day. Now, if you want any of these, feel free to email them. Again, training@ahcpsales.com. But this will also be put on our YouTube channel that's out there and the training section on ahcpsales.com's website. So if you want to listen to this again, we're going to put it up probably later today or tomorrow for you. So hang tight on that. But if you don't have any questions, don't have any comments, and of course, don't have any concerns, go through, have a great Monday, and I will see you all next Monday. Have a great week, everyone.